Hello, hello, and welcome. It's Margaret Seconet, and welcome to my video tutorial, the session all about identifying properties energy. And this has something to do with East and West group theory that you guys have actually been asking me. I have been getting questions such as, how do you know if you are a West or East person? Which direction is your best direction and where to face, or how to get your Kua number? Well, today I'm going to expound a little bit more on these subjects in this video, so stay with me, okay? And let's get started. How do we identify a property's energy? Or what are the properties energy? Now let's find out a little bit more. Okay, one of the compass system that is often mentioned in the English Feng Shui books is that of the 8 mansions or 8 houses Feng Shui. It's a classical Feng Shui technique or method, how you call it. And sometimes it's also referred to as the East-West group house theory. Now, this system uses your birth year and gender to calculate for your personal Minggua or lifestyle. And then from there, you can actually determine your favorable or unfavorable directions. Now, each Minggua is associated with how do you call this? An element, and it belongs to either the we have the 5 elements. Now, the popularity of this 8 house mansions Feng Shui in the West has led a lot of people in getting into reading up a little bit more, and then you're getting more confused as you read more and more the books that's out there. So it has led to people getting confused as what to do, especially when you have partners, when you're single, living alone in your home. That doesn't seem to create any challenges. But if you do have partners, if you have a family, and and let's put it this way, suddenly you learn that this that you guys have different chances are you have different Mingguas, and likelihood that you might belong to a different group altogether. And what to do? I know some people don't really subscribe to this, or don't really practice the 8 house mansions, but the 8 house Feng Shui has its own merits. It can be used if you want a simplified way of practicing Feng Shui. Now, because of all that confusion, I know some couples have resorted to sleeping facing each other's feet. And this seems to be a bit drastic. So, but the thing is, like, if you solely focus on the Minggua, we forget to consider other important factors, and that is our properties. Our homes has its own house Kua, its own energy. It's based on the period. Based on the period is when the house was built, that type of thing. So we have period 1 to period 9, and your house might fall into one of this period, right? So and based on that, it will have its own energy. Now, sometimes you might think, okay, my neighbor's house and mine was built the same time, so we both have the same energy. Then both houses are likely to have the same energy. And I'm sorry to say it, but that is not always the case. So, so depending on when the building was constructed, the move-in date of the occupants as well, and where it's located and which direction it faces has a lot to do with the energies of that property, of your house, you know. So it's also the very reason, sometimes the very reason why the system is called 8 mansion, because we also have like when I'm talking about facing direction or sitting direction, we have more or less like 8 principal directions to consider, right? And I don't want to go into that because it's just gonna create a lot more confusion. We just talk about the 8 mansions Feng Shui, or the East-West group theory right now. And for you guys who want to just practice this without muddling yourself with other with the flying stars or with other schools of thought, let's not lose heart when family members have different favorable or unfavorable directions. You know, by finding your Mingua or your life stars, you can again determine where. So these are the usefulness of the 8 mansions Feng Shui. You can find your best directions to face, and directions of where your bed should be facing, where you probably should be facing. This is generally speaking. We're not talking about the forms here. So you will find your best direction. You will find out if you actually belongs to the East or the West group type of people, right? So this is pretty useful if you want to position yourself when you're negotiating. It's also pretty good when you're positioning your desk and where to face your bed also. These are all very important factors in your life, your office, you know, where you sleep, where you do your work, your business, where you study, and in the boardroom, how do you want to face yourself? You know, would you have an upper hand if you face in your best direction? Certainly, right? Now, I have in my book more details about this, and let's get started with other what do you call this? Let me put it this way. Okay, now up here you can see a chart of the East and West house with their respective Kua number, Kua name, the elements and directions. Now the East and West house theory suggests the 8 sides of the Pakwa, which stands for the 8 types of houses, that is divided into 2 categories, namely the East houses and the West houses. Now the energy of each property is inherently different. This is the flow of energy or the principal direction of those energy that enters the house from the front door. So one way of finding your house energy is with, of course, a regular compass, or you have a low pan, but a regular reliable compass will do. So with your compass, you go to the front door and walk into the property, take note of the direction you're moving to. It is also the property's energy pattern. It is also the direction heading towards the back of your house or back door, okay? So if this energy is going northwest, then your house chances is a northwest house or a Qian house, and has the Kua number 6 to it. So it's directing to the back door. Front door is basically facing southeast, and the element of this type of house is basically a metal element. So simply take note of your front and back doors from the inside looking out and determine which direction back door is facing. For example, like again, if your back door is in the north and you have a can house, so determining first if your property is an east or west house actually can help in this situation. Now let's get on to other things. Now this is a Pakwa symbol with the different directions. I don't know, I mapped it out here for you. Again, like I said earlier, you will see the 8 different directions, and all the Kua number that each direction belongs to, as well as the elements and the name of the Kua, and the elements of fire, water, and wood, as you can see here, belongs to the east houses, and this can be enhanced by, you know, to enhance the, I mean, all these elements can be used to enhance the energy of these type of houses. Now, examples are like flowers, plants, wooden ornaments, or water features, right? Now, to enhance the energy of the west houses, we have metal and earth as its element. As you can see here, the west group houses have the metal elements and the earth elements as well. So now, after identifying your property, we can determine whether you are actually living in a house that is auspicious or not auspicious, or not, you know, not in relation to your Kua number. So, but like I said, this is a simplified way of actually, you know, practicing Feng Shui, or a simple classical Feng Shui technique or method, you know. Now, let some of you asking like your Kua number. Now, your Kua number is determined by your birth year. So, by calculating your Kua number, you can determine again whether you belong to the east or the west group house, and it actually, what is used in the calculation is actually your birth year and your gender. Now, the Kua number thing, you know, it belongs to the Pakwa Loshu theory. So, and again, so it also determines your favorable or unfavorable locations. Now, how do you calculate this, you know, how do you call this? Your Pakwa, how can you calculate for your Pakwa number? So, there are different ways of calculating for males and females. So what happens if you're calculating for male, then what you can do is, what you have to do is add the last 2 digits of your birth year. If the result is 10, add 2 digits to reduce them to a single number. Then deduct this result from 10, and then the answer is your Kua number. Now this is for the males, okay, for the men. Now, if your Kua number is for female, I mean, if you're looking for the Kua number for females, then you add again the last 2 digits of your birth year. If the result is 10 or more, add the 2 digits again to reduce them to a single number, then add 5. If the result is 10 or more, add the 2 digits, reducing them to a single digit number, and your answer is your Kua number. Okay. Now, chances are when you're adding, deducting, adding and deducting, you might come up with the Kua number 5. Now, if this happens, then this is what you do. Now, if you're a man, then the Kua number you have to use, if you calculate it and it comes out 5, then you have to use the number 2. That's going to be your Kua number. Okay. Now, if you're for the women, if you calculate it and the Kua number comes out 5, then you should be using the number 8. Okay. Number 2 for the male and number 8 for the female. Now, for families with East-West group members, then, you know, there are alternatives to how you can actually use the locations, the different areas of your room, you know, to your advantage also. So it's not like, you know, there's no other way of using this method. So again, when you find out your best directions, I mean, when you find your number, then you will find your 4 auspicious and 4 inauspicious bad directions. Now you will also find out whether you belong to the East or West group people, right? So you'll be able to determine if you're suitable to living in a West house or you're more suitable to living in an East house. You will also benefit by knowing which location your major rooms should be actually where your major room should be located. Okay. And this of course would be where your favorable directions are, or so in this chart you can see the chart belonging to the West and the East group. Now if your numbers are 2, 6, 7, 8, you belong to the West group, and the West, Northwest, Southwest, Northeast are your favorable directions. Needless to say, the other directions will not be so favorable for you. Now, if you're an East person, you have the number 1, 3, 4, 9 as your Kua number, and your favorable directions would be the East, South, or North directions, right? So again, needless to say, the West, the other directions would be not as conducive for you, would not be as favorable for you. So ideally, when you look at this, it would be great to to have selected a house that coincide with your own favorable direction. Like a West group person living in a West house. But this might not be the case. Then in your situation, then the alternative is, don't lose hope. The alternative is to actually focus on the rooms in your home and determine their location. Then you can actually, if you have the ability to select the rooms to be your bedroom, then it's fine. If you have only one bedroom, then sometimes it's a little bit difficult for you to keep moving. If your kitchen, your bedroom, your office is situated and not in your best, then you have to then also look at the small Tai Chi and go from there. Okay. So the feng shui in your home can be, of course, substantially improved by arranging and rearranging the rooms, especially for major rooms like your bedroom, your home office, and your kitchen, to your favorable direction. It would be easy also if, let's put it this way, it would be easy if all the family members belong to one type of house group. Now, the reality is that this sometimes is not the case. One thing I'll share with you is that fortunately, my family have all the same direction. I mean, we're all belong to one group, so it's a little bit easier in my case to actually position and locate the rooms in a matter of speaking. But again, alternately, I also practice flying star feng shui. So I don't just look at the direction or the locations or just the house Kua number. There's another layer of energies that I actually work with. Okay, so again, you can see here, your bedroom, your kitchen, your rooms where, it would be difficult sometimes to place all the beds in the good part of the house, and then all the toilets or storage rooms in the inauspicious areas of your home. Now, there's a chance that you'll have to probably compromise and plan accordingly depending on what is your priority at this time. In this situation, you take note of the direction of your doors, the bedrooms, and the stove, since this is where they are located, since they will have a major influence on your fortune and your health and basically your priorities. So when, let's say, hubby and you belong to different house group, then it would be best to position the main door and the stove, how do you call this, like the husband, would actually benefit by, let's say, if you have an office in the house, then, the husband's office would, certainly it would be to his advantage if it was located in his best area, right? And likewise with the wife. Now, and sometimes you can't have it both ways. So you have to compromise whether the kitchen should be where it's more favorable for the wife, or the bedroom is more favorable for the husband. So from the charts itself, find the corresponding Kua number and the name and type of house it belongs to. Then there you will find your Kua number. And but like again, I said, this is just one of the classical Feng Shui method or technique, or and there's other Feng Shui techniques and methods that are used. So there's the other layer of Flying Star Feng Shui, which actually means that the Flying Star also have touch on the natal energy of the property itself. Okay, so now like this is just a short explanation. Hopefully it will give you a clearer idea of the, how do you call this, the different energies that is in your house. I was also intending to actually share with you how you can actually find out your Kua number, because I've got a few questions on that, and how to position, and like if you're taking your direction, which like just by using your regular compass and walking it, you kind of have an idea now where your house energy is coming from, and where your house is actually sitting, the back of your back door, the main door, where it's facing. So this actually will give you an idea of whether your house belongs to the East group or whether your house belongs to the West group. Okay, so I hope I've been able to clear up some of your confusion. I know it's what strikes me when I first really look at this Feng Shui, and I was looking at all the available books out there, and most of them will have the will touch on the 8 houses Feng Shui. But the thing is, like, I also realized that the more people read, the more confused they become. So so hopefully this video will help you, enlighten you a little bit more on what you can do, and more information on the Kua numbers as well. Okay, so I'm Margaret Seconet. I thank you for joining me on this video tutorial. I'm coming out with more, and I hope you guys will join me in my next video. And well, I'm going to just say bye bye for now.